Under the red moonlight, Mi walked past Shunsu, who muttered a quiet goodbye. She meets Bugai, who gives her a head pat before dipping out too. But before Mi can even say a word, the vibe completely shifts. Now Mi is alone, rocking headphones and a foxstone charm, looking like a total loner. We get a flashback of her watching the popular girls live their best lives. It's her birthday, but instead of partying, she starts talking to floating orbs only she can see. This absolutely terrifies the other kids, and Mi realizes she's got a major I see spirits debuff. Rumors start flying, and she becomes the school's resident ghost girl. When a girl finally invites her over, she just nopes out and blasts her music to drown out the world. Mi wanders into a festival and catches a show by a mysterious magician named Charlie. Charlie pulls out a disappearing box and tells Mi to hop in for a trick. She's hesitant but figures why not. Inside the pitch-black box, Mi actually feels more chill than ever. Charlie starts the countdown and bam, she gets full-on ice guide. She wakes up to a ghost hand and finds herself in a world where her phone has 0 bars and 0 life. Still processing, she almost gets flattened by a speeding carriage. The driver, Ogai, checks on her but is more interested in her weird ear gear. Shunsu spawns in too, while Ogai starts simping over her modern outfit. Mi finally snaps back to reality, and Ogai offers her a lift since she looks lost. Suddenly, Mi realizes she has 0 memories of where her home even is. She takes the invite and hops into the carriage. Ogai asks for her name, but our MC's brain is currently buffering. A voice whispers her name out of nowhere, right as they arrive at a fancy ball for the prince. Mi recognizes the venue, but there's one problem. This place was destroyed ages ago. Yep, she's definitely in the past, and she's standing out like a sore thumb. Shunsu is skeptical of her NPC clothes, but Ogai tells him to relax. Distracted by the smell of roast beef, Mi accidentally collides with a server. The beef flies through the air, gets caught by Kyoka, and eventually lands with Orojiro. As the two guys bicker, Mi spots a ghost rabbit on Kyoka's shoulder, making him jump. Orojiro thinks Mi is just thirsty for a dance and starts teasing her. She shuts him down and mentions the bunny again, making everyone think she's either crazy or seeing ghosts. Yakumo interrupts the awkwardness and pulls her onto the dance floor. Mid-spin, Mi spots Charlie, the magician who sent her to this timeline. Charlie admits he's been stalking her and is hyped that his human teleportation spell actually worked. He snaps his fingers, the lights cut out, and he vanishes like a pro. In the dark, Mi sees a spirit fox, but Goro is ready to slice it with his sword. Mi jumps in the way to protect the fox, and Goro suspects she's a legendary Tameri. The lights flip back on, and Ogai casually claims Mi is his fiancée to end the tension. Mi relives that fiancé bombshell in a dream and wakes up in a cold sweat. She's officially flustered. She heads to the balcony, replaying the wild events of her first night in the past. Ogai and Yakumo had saved her from Goro's interrogation, and now she's crash-pad hopping at a massive mansion. It finally sets in. She's actually time-traveled and she's met a whole cast of historical chads. A loud blast scares her, but Shunsu says it's just the city's giant alarm clock. She notices Shunsu is an artist, but his latest masterpiece has a big blank spot. Ogai enters and starts teasing her, calling her a little squirrel for being so jumpy. He tells her she can stay as long as she wants and doubles down on the fiancé title just to see her react. When he offers to take her out for food, she asks for a beef bowl, which apparently is a luxury item in this era. Mi mentions a 380 yen price tag, and the guys are shook because in their world, that's enough money to buy a house. Mi realizes she's got a major currency mismatch, and after a quick kimono wardrobe assist, they hit up a sukiyaki spot. Over dinner, Ogai recalls meeting Shunsu a year ago when he caught the artist sketching him while he was naked in the bath. Talk about an awkward first meeting. Ogai then asks Mi if she can help find Shunsu's missing cat. She thinks it's a normal cat, but it's actually a spirit cat, and Mi is the only one with the eyes to see it. He explains that being a Tameri is super rare because ghosts are currently playing hide-and-seek. Mi realizes that's why the cat was missing from the painting, though she's not sure how she knew. Ogai is impressed and says finding that cat is the ultimate mission for Shunsu. He says this is her chance to prove she's got those spirit-seeing powers for real. Suddenly, that creepy voice calls her name again, and Mi starts losing it. Back at the house, Shunsu tells her not to listen to Ogai's trolling and leaves her alone. Charlie spawns in again, inviting her to a secret meeting. Mi begs him to send her back to the future, but he says she's stuck here for a month until the next full moon. He tells her to just vibe with the past and enjoy the historical scenery. Mi locks in and tells Shunsu she's going to find his ghost cat before he ruins his canvas. She sees the maid Fumi cleaning on all fours and decides it's time for some modern innovation. Mi crafts a makeshift mop and starts speed cleaning the place, which Ogai finds hilarious. He's officially intrigued by this weird girl from the future. Charlie watches from the shadows, wishing her luck on her new journey. Goro and Yakumo are hunting spirits in a dark house, and things are looking tense. Goro's blade reflects a ghost, proving the supernatural is very real. Meanwhile, Mi and Shunsu are being forced to eat snacks by Ogai. After the sugar rush, they head out to start the cat-finding quest. Shunsu is confused, saying spirits usually only show up during the golden hour. They bump into Kyoka and Yakumo on the street. Mi notes that the ghost rabbit is missing from Kyoka's shoulder, which is a major call-out. This confirms Mi is the real deal, a Tamiri who can actually mess with spirits. Kyoka says Yakumo needs a favor, and the guy is desperate for her help. They head back to Ogai's mansion to hear him out. Yakumo wants to find his childhood ghost friend, Jane, who appeared when his life was falling apart. But one day, Jane showed him her blank face, and it absolutely scarred him. He screamed and she vanished, leaving him haunted for years. He lost an eye and has been living in regret ever since, thinking he's cursed. Now that the red moon is out, Jane's ghost is back and causing chaos. Yakumo thinks she's back for revenge and is willing to let her end him just to apologize. Ogai thinks it's too dangerous, but our MC Mi is determined to clear this quest. Ogai agrees but sends Shunsu as her bodyguard to make sure she doesn't get ghosted. Mi and Shunsu are waiting at Yakumo's hotel, and the vibe is actually kind of sweet. They talk about Ogai's fiancé claim, but Mi is clearly still in denial. Shunsu starts sketching spirits from his head, and Mi decides to join in. She tries to draw the ghost she sees, but her art stats are, well, they're working on it. Shunsu admits he's jealous of her powers and wishes he could see the other side for his art. Mi ends up falling asleep, and Shunsu lets her rest on his shoulder. Absolute Chad move. Suddenly, Jane spawns in, and Mi wakes up screaming. Goro crashes through the window to slay the spirit, but Mi pulls a "not on my watch" and blocks him. Yakumo begs Jane to take his life as an apology, but Mi steps in as the translator. She explains that Jane isn't mad, she's just been shy this whole time. She only hid because she felt bad for scaring him as a kid. The red moon just gave her too much power to handle. Yakumo is over the moon, even if he can't see her anymore. He feels a warm touch on his cheek as Jane whispers that she'll always be with him. And just like that, the spirit quest is complete. Mi thanks Yakumo for helping her find her worth, and Shunsu for being a top-tier friend. Ogai arrives and gives them both a big victory hug. Yakumo tries to simp for Mi, but Ogai swoops in, grabs her hand and claims her again. Mi dreams of her old life in Tokyo, but the faces of her friends turn into judgmental NPCs. The dream ends with Ogai and Shunsu vanishing, leaving her alone with her phone. She wakes up confused, wondering if she's starting to prefer the past. Later, Ogai's aunt visits and trashes his choice of a commoner fiancé. Ogai doesn't care. He tells me he's debuting her at the next big royal event. He takes her on a date to Asakusa to help her regain her memories. Aka flirt. He holds her hand through the crowd so she doesn't get lost in the historical chaos. They run into Arajiro's fans, and Ogai promises they'll catch his next play. They stop for ice cream, and Ogai pulls a classic move by wiping a drip off her face. Then they go to a photo studio for a 16 yen portrait. Mi thinks it's cheap, until she realizes 16 yen could buy her a lifetime supply of sukiyaki. She's so shocked by the math that she falls over right as the camera clicks. At the play, Mi flexes her future knowledge by predicting a tragic ending. During the play, Mi and Yugai discuss the Golden Demon, which Mi recognized. Yugai explained the plot, and Mi predicted a sad ending. Yugai was amused by her knowledge of English literature, particularly Romeo and Julie and Hamlet. As the play began, characters mentioned a 300 yen diamond, which May consider cheap, but Lugai commented that it equaled 60 million bowls of sukiyaki. When Ultra Gyro appeared on stage, May recognized him from the previous Rokumakin event. After the play, Lugai expressed his happiness that May was enjoying herself, believing that exposing her to various experiences might help her regain her memory. May felt slightly guilty for Lugai's efforts, but was reassured when he invited her to stay at his mansion and join him for dinner. While at dinner, they both ate beefsteak. Ugai complimented her on her Western table manners, her fondness of Shakespeare and her enjoyment of food, and then he told her that she would do fine when she's formally introduced as his fiancée. Mi was still reluctant, but Ugai told her that she should believe in herself and lean towards her. This flusters Mi, leading her to send the fork flying into a noble woman's hair. The woman speaking with Uji introduced her daughter and asked Mei about her family. The woman was surprised when Uji said she was a commoner and that he was attracted to her not by her pedigree but her soul. Shansu notices our MC lagging in real time as she spills tea while daydreaming, leading a flustered Mei to feel like a total NPC compared to noble daughters, doubting she has the plot armor to be his fiancée, but Shansu reminds her that if an op legend like Aogai believes in her, she needs to trust his judgment. So later on the busy streets, Mei spots a beautiful geisha being harassed by a low-level creep, and after the woman obliterates him with a slap, Mei begs for a glow-up to become a proper lady, leading them straight to the Kagurazaka boarding house for some high-stakes training, where Mei is hyped to learn the arts and finally look like a noble, but the geisha immediately starts roasting her sloppy manners and issues a total challenge to her character, leading to a scene where Mei almost accidentally speedruns a nude reveal before getting scolded to stop. So the geisha starts fixing her hair and realizes Mei's determination is actually fueled by her love for Aogai. And then things get spicy during makeup when the geisha almost leans in for a kiss, which is interrupted by Mei's awkward greeting, causing the geisha to complain about her messy kimono style, warning her that men can sense a girl's social tier by her outfit, so she brings out a wooden stick to buff Mei's posture with some painful slaps. And just as Mei realizes being a lady is a brutal grind, the house mother enters with dinner, and Mi's stomach starts a solo concert which leads to a fish-eating test where she fails and gets roasted again. But the geisha tells her to come back tomorrow and keep the training a secret, only for the plot twist to drop that the geisha was actually Otojiro in disguise the whole time. And back at home, Shansu spots the lipstick and tries to blackmail Mei into being his model by pinning her to a door, but Aogai enters the chat to check his manners before the scene shifts to Mei getting her full geisha war paint on, as the vibe is interrupted by Mi muttering hello to a geisha who immediately starts a makeover. Yakumo gives her the beauty buff, while Aogai and Otojiro start a heated PvP battle over who gets to keep her, but suddenly, Mei has to defend Kyoka from drunk customers because he's a massive germaphobe and can't handle the physical contact, until Charlie interrupts the banquet to introduce Tauski, an electrical generator genius, before summoning a camel that decides to go on a total rampage and obliterate the whole room. And just as the moon appears, Mei realizes she's running out of time, but the room magically resets as Fukuzawa Yukichi walks in, and Mei recognizes him as the literal face of the 10,000 yen bill before he listens to Tauski's speech about the future, which is met with massive backlash from guests who think electricity is devil magic. But Mei steps up to defend the tech with her future knowledge, leading Yukichi to support the cause while Tauski kisses her hand and asks her to stay by his side, prompting Aogai to pull a protective hug and beg her not to be taken away, which Mei agrees to as they share a moment. But the weather takes a dark turn as Kyoka's play characters start floating off the page, while Mei daydreams about beef cutlets, so she drags Shansu out to find the black cat again, but gets chased by a flock of pigeons because of her silver vine, leading them to a mysterious lullaby by the pond where they find Kyoka singing to the water like a total weirdo, and he explains that his dragon goddess spirit escaped his script and caused a non-stop rainstorm that won't end until she returns, so Mei vows to help find the spirit but gets scolded by Aogai for entering a dangerous area, and while Goro Shansu asks her to model again, but Aogai tells him to learn some manners before asking his girl. Shansu dips, and it's time for Mi's full geisha transformation. She's getting the traditional white makeup and a crash course in etiquette. Kyoka bursts in complaining about being forced into geisha drag too. Mi tells him he actually looks high-key pretty, which he hates. He's still salty, but Mi says it's only for one night. They're warned that VIPs are coming, and Otorako promises to back Mi up. At the banquet, Yakumo is instantly simping for geisha Mi and her new look. She spots Shansu in the crowd and eventually runs into Aogai and Otorako. As Mi goes to work, Aogai and Otorako start a heated debate over who's keeping the MC. The battle for Mi's heart is officially heating up, but what will she choose? Stay tuned. Mei and Chiyoka then get harassed by the drunk customers, but Shansu calls Mei to do something for him to get her out of the situation. Mei realizes Kyoka is still stuck in that mess and tries to go back, but Shansu stops her, saying the guy can handle himself since he's technically a Chad. Mei isn't having it, though she knows Kyoka's germaphobe debuff means he's currently in hell. Shunsu just sighs, wondering why she's always trying to carry the whole squad. Finally, Kyoka hits the eject button and runs away to escape the harassment. Suddenly, a disguised Charlie crashes the party to introduce the legendary investor, Tusky. Shunsu explains that this guy is basically the op researcher behind Japan's future electrical grid. Charlie decides to put on a show for the VIPs. His next trick, summoning a literal camel out of thin air. The audience is hyped, and Ogai gets a little too close to the new guest. Mei-san tries to warn him, but it's too late. The moment Ogai touches it, the camel goes on a rampage and trashes the entire banquet. Charlie and Mei talk about the full moon, but Mei is already feeling the leaving soon debuff and gets emotional. Suddenly, the room resets to mint condition as the legendary Fukuzawa Yukichi walks in. Mei is shook. She recognizes him as the literal face of the 10,000 yen bill. And of course, Goro is there playing the role of the op bodyguard. They're all here to listen to Tusky's big brain speech about electricity. The other guests start hating, calling electricity a devil's light and a curse that's going to nerf humanity. Tusky tries to argue that this is the future, but the NPCs just keep calling it a pipe dream. That's when Mei jumps in and tells everyone to pipe down. It's not a dream at all. She starts dropping future knowledge about how electricity is actually the ultimate utility. After hearing her claims, the cash man himself decides to back Tusky's research. Tusky is beyond impressed, applauding Mei for having such an op vision of the future. He even tries to recruit her to his lab, hoping to borrow her high-level knowledge. Ogai isn't having any of it. He pulls Mei back, claiming he's not letting her get poached, and the two share a wholesome moment. On a rainy day, Kyoka is writing a play, but his characters are literally jumping off the page in a supernatural glitch. Mei is seen daydreaming about food, and of course, our resident Chad, Ogai. She's caught in her feelings about staying here, but she remembers Charlie can send her home as soon as the next full moon drops. When the sky clears, she drags Shunsu along for another round of the Find the Black Cat quest. While searching, they find a guy feeding pigeons, but things go south fast. The pigeons realize Mei has some silver vine on her and decide to launch a raid. The birds start chasing them like they're the final boss. Mei eats the vine to escape the swarm, and they end up by the pond where they hear a mysterious lullaby. They follow the sound and find Kyoka having a private karaoke session with the water. Kyoka notices them and immediately enters tsundere mode. He's super embarrassed about being caught singing alone. He starts shouting at them, trying to prove he's not some weirdo who just talks to ponds in his spare time. He explains that his writing is so op that the dragon goddess spirit actually manifested and ditched his script for the pond. Turns out this spirit is the reason for the infinite rain debuff, and he can't finish his play until she returns. Mei, being the classic MC, decides she's going to help Kyoka finish his masterpiece. Back at base, Ogai isn't happy. He reminds Mei she's already on a quest for Shunsu's cat. Shunsu also gets a lecture for taking the MC into a high-level danger zone. Shunsu admits that Ogai isn't the only one worried about her safety. The rain keeps coming, so Goro and his troops are out there grinding, trying to stop the city from flooding. Kyoka finds Mei back at the pond and tries to understand what she's seeing. Mei tries to relate to the spirit, telling her that they both know what it's like to be pulled away from the people they love. Goro notices the dragon spirit and tries to slash it, thinking he's starting a boss fight. The dragon enters berserker mode, letting out its anger and trashing the area. To stop the rampage, Mei pulls a total MC move and jumps straight into the pond. She falls into the waves, but Ogai dives in for the save while Kyoka follows close behind. Even as she's sinking, Mei is still trying to convince the spirit to go back to the script. Mei passes out, but Ogai manages to secure the rescue. Kyoka hugs the spirit and begs her to come home. The talk no jutsu works, the spirit returns, and the rain debuff finally clears. The next day, Kyoka gives Mei a rare thank you. Meanwhile, Goro is having nightmares about a past battle where he had to take down a possessed friend. It's a dark flashback showing how the ghost transferred to his sword, leaving his friend as an empty husk. Mei is practicing her waltz with Ogai, but her movement stats are still pretty low. Shunsu is clearly bothered by the vibe and says he's going back on the cat hunt instead of watching them. Mei follows him, and Shunsu is confused why she's tagging along again. She says the cat quest is the priority right now. Shunsu mentions Ogai ordered her an expensive dress, but he seems low-key salty. Mei asks why he's mad at her, but then Yakumo spawns in. He suggests they all hit up a cat cafe together. On the way, they find Kyoka arguing with his sensei, who starts flirting with Mei immediately. Kyoka gets chased by a tiny dog and bails, so the whole squad follows him. They run into Orojiro and decide to grab a meal at that cat cafe. Plot twist, the cat cafe is actually Goro's house, and the fluffballs love hanging out there. They tell Goro they're just there for the black cat quest. Kyoka is shocked the place is so clean, and Yakumo reveals Goro is actually a domestic king. The guys decide to help with the cooking, but Yakumo has 0 points in the kitchen. Kyoka is worried about germs while Orojiro is just looking for the loot, specifically the alcohol. While Mei and Shunsu are vibing with the cats, Ogai suddenly arrives to crash the party. On the other hand, Kyoka worries about the germs and Otojiro is just looking for alcohol to drink. He keeps reminding everyone that she's his fiancée, which Orojiro calls petty. Yakumo even challenges Ogai to a minigame to see who gets the privilege of feeding the MC. Goro eventually hits his limit with the chaos and heads off to wash the dishes alone. Goro then leaves the room, stating he's had enough and goes to wash the dishes. Mei offers to help him grind out the chores, but as he recalls the ghost that possessed his katana after he deleted his friend, he's just glad she's there to distract him. After he fixes her fit from the cat attack, she rejects his job offer to join the squad because she thinks spirits have hearts too, but suddenly her dizzy debuff hits and her past starts buffering. Scenes of her childhood flash by while the drunken squad tries to yeet Goro away from her. Meanwhile, Aogai gets the intel that she's staying put, making Goro realize this group of misfits is actually kind of goated. Mei remembers being an NPC in high school because of her ghost-seeing skills, so Aogai decides to speedrun his novel for her, terrified that she might soon leave him for the modern world. The full moon is approaching, and Mei is torn between her old life and staying with her husbando, which is why she's pacing around his study like a restless NPC. Aogai is acting like a hermit writer and hasn't spawned all day, but as soon as he appears at breakfast, her mood gets a massive power-up. He's writing a romance novel, but gets stuck in a writer's block loop, so Mei tries to quiet the neighborhood dogs to protect his focus, only to notice that his normal schedule is totally nerfed as he takes a random midday bath. Suddenly, an art teacher barges in to hype them up, leaving Aogai to retreat to his study wondering what's wrong with his brain. Charlie spawns in for a chat during the night, and Mei literally kicks him out of surprise, but then she admits she doesn't want to leave this Isekai life, making her overjoyed when he says she can stay as long as she wants. Aogai watches her from the balcony fearing she'll vanish with the moon, and as he writes, a ghost named Elise touches his hand, causing him to panic and wonder if she's trying to block his progress. He thinks he's out of time, but the next morning he invites Mei for a sweets date, while Shunsu fakes a stomach ache to stay behind. At the restaurant, Aogai says he might quit writing forever to spend more time with her, but Mei isn't having it and urges him to finish the grind. She learns the novel is actually about his German ex-lover Elise, and that Aogai still regrets breaking things off with her due to family drama. He tells the ghost to stop appearing because he's doing this for Mei, so she rushes into his study only to find his pen abandoned. She dashes into town and accidentally hugs a random stranger before Shunsu catches her, bringing her back to her senses with a hug because she was acting way too frantic. They find Aogai smoking by the riverbank where he admits Elise is just a phantom of his past, but then Mei hugs him and vows to stay by his side, handing him his pen so the ghost can finally look happy and move on. The novel is finally finished, but Shunsu's eyesight is being nerfed hard as the black cat watches him struggle from outside the room, while Aogai presents Mei with a golden ball gown for her formal debut, promising she'll look like a literal princess. Shunsu can barely see the dress but compliments it anyway, and later Fumi swaps his brush box with fish flakes by mistake. Mei volunteers to deliver the gear to his art school, but once she arrives, the jealous classmates think she's his girlfriend, prompting him to drag her outside to avoid the drama. His friend Taken shows up to tease him about his cute girlfriend, but Mei clears the air before Taken reminds them about the upcoming art exhibition, revealing that Shunsu is about to quit because he's scared the eye surgery will send him to the permanent shadow realm of blindness. He discards all his drawings and tells Mei to leave him alone, but she retrieves them all and reminds him of his promise to paint her portrait. His motivation is rekindled, and they spot the missing black cat chasing it. Back to the mansion where it reappears on his masterpiece, and suddenly Mei's lost memories finally stop lagging. She remembers growing up in an antique shop and befriending spirits, realizing that she used headphones to block out Charlie's voice for years. She's finally her true self thanks to this Meiji-era Isekai trip, and she discovers that Charlie has been the voice in her head the entire time. Charlie is hype about her character development, but Aogai interrupts to have her try on the golden gown, leading to a waltz that leaves the rest of the squad looking sad. Mei takes one last stroll through her favorite spots before the strawberry full moon ball, where she shocks everyone by showing up in her modern school uniform instead of the fancy dress, taking turns dancing with every guy in the squad while they drop their final emotional lines until she finds Shunsu outside, who admits he wished she'd never remembered her past. He points her to the park where she first met Aogai, so she speedruns there to confess her love and drop a heartfelt farewell. But just as she's about to leave, she runs back for one last kiss, and then Charlie yeets her back to the modern age, wishing her a happy life as the credits finally roll. Meanwhile, Aogai is dealing with his past, begging his old muse Elise to leave him alone so he can move on. Shunsu notes that Aogai is doing all of this just for Mei's sake. Mei finds a pen near his unfinished novel and realizes something is wrong. She rushes out and hears from Fumi that Aogai headed into town looking stressed. She ends up accidentally hugging a random NPC who looks like Aogai in her rush. She apologizes and keeps sprinting. Shunsu catches up and gives her a reality check hug because he can't stand seeing her so frantic. Then they spot Aogai standing by the riverbank like a brooding protagonist. Aogai admits that Elise is just a ghost of his past that will vanish if he stops writing, but it's a mental battle. Mei arrives and gives him a hug, which immediately buffs his mood. He tries to push her away, but she says she loves him regardless of his baggage. She vows to stay by his side no matter what, and hands him his fountain pen back. The ghost of Elise shows up one last time, looking happy as she fades. Aogai finally finishes the novel, but keeps it hidden from Mei for now. Meanwhile, Shunsu is losing his eyesight while the black cat just watches from the shadows. Aogai shows off a mock-up of a golden ball gown and asks Mei for her thoughts. Yugai shows a mock-up of a golden ball gown and asks for Mei's opinion. Mei thinks it's pretty and Yugai tells Mei that it's hers to wear for the upcoming formal presentation, which she seems to have forgotten from the ads that Mei will look like a princess from a fairy tale. Later, Fumi realizes there's been a mix-up with Shunsu's boxes. His brushes are missing. Mei hears he left for the arts university and offers to deliver the loot. At the school, Shunsu realizes his mistake right as his friends start teasing him. His buddy Taken is about to help him out when Mei spawns in to deliver the brushes. The jealous classmates immediately start thinking Mei is his girlfriend. Shunsu drags her outside to escape the awkwardness. He thanks her and apologizes for his rowdy crew, and Mei is just glad she could help. Taken catches up and keeps teasing him about having such a 10-10 girlfriend. Mei has to clear the air, she's not the girlfriend, guys. Taken reminds him about the big exhibition where they're supposed to revolutionize the art world. He asks about the black cat painting, but Shunsu admits he's hitting a wall. Taken realizes Shunsu hasn't seen a doctor for his failing eyesight. He goes off on him, saying he's the only one trying if Shunsu just gives up like this. Taken storms off but begs him to get the surgery first. Mei is shook and asks why he's avoiding the hospital. Shunsu admits he's terrified that if the surgery fails, he'll lose his vision for good. He trashes his drawings and tells Mei to leave him alone. Even as his world turns into blurry colors, he thinks about how Mei is the only thing that shines. He's stunned when Mei returns with all his discarded art, having rescued every single piece. She reminds him of his promise, he still has to paint her portrait. His motivation is officially back online, and his vision starts to clear. They spot the missing black cat and chase it back to the mansion where it lands on the canvas. Looking at the moon, Mei suddenly gets a massive memory download. She remembers everything. She remembers her old life and the antique shop she grew up in. She realizes she's always seen spirits, but she used her headphones to block them out and act normal. But ever since she got Isekai to the Meiji era, she's finally been able to be herself. Now she knows she can finally go back and face her old life with a new perspective. Charlie talks to her mentally, and Mei realizes he was the voice she was trying to block out all along. Charlie is just happy to see how much she's grown. But the talk is cut short because Aogai is calling her name. He presents her with the final golden gown, and it's a legendary tier item. Mei tries it on immediately, and after a makeover from Fumi, she looks incredible. Aogai asks for a dance, and they share a waltz while Shunsu watches with a heavy heart. As the month comes to a close, Mei takes one last walk through the places she's made memories. Mei realizes that she has changed a lot, and she has been able to become her true self ever since Charlie's magic sent her to the Meiji era, and she met Yugai. Knowing this, she thinks that she could now change her response to her classmates, asking her out and go out with them. Charlie then talks with May through her mind, and May realizes that Charlie has been the voice all along. Charlie expresses that he's truly happy that May has grown a lot. The conversation has cut short since Yubei was calling for May. In good mood, Uja presents May with a golden ball gown. She says that it's beautiful and asks if she may wear it immediately. Fumi assists May with wearing the gown and does her makeup. Lugai then asks May for a dance, and they share a waltz in front of Shunsu, who looks sad and Fumi. In the morning, May rolls around the places where events during the past month occurred. She longingly stared at them as if to take them in one last time. Later that night, Ogai heads to the party early to greet the foreign VIPs, telling me to finish her prep and meet him at the ball. It's the night of the strawberry full moon, but when our MC arrives, she's not wearing the legendary gold gown. She's back in her modern school uniform. Yakumo notices instantly, calling it the exact dress from their first encounter, and pulls her in for one last dance. Meanwhile, Ogai is in his feelings and storms out of the party. The whole squad, Yakumo, Tusuki, Arajiro, Kayuka, and Goro, each take turns waltzing with her, dropping emotional lines about their time together. After the dance marathon, Mi finds Shunsu waiting for her outside in the moonlight. Shunsu admits he low-key hoped her memories would never return so she'd stay in this timeline forever. He tells her Ogai is waiting at the park where they first spawned in, and Mi doesn't hesitate, she's sprinting. Shunsu watches her go, whispering his final goodbye. At their original meeting spot, Mi and Ogai finally drop the I love you bomb before the ultimate heartfelt farewell. But before the portal closes, she runs back to give our lead a final parting kiss. Charlie uses his magic to transport her back to modern-day Tokyo, wishing her a happy life. And she finally gets to live her best life, hanging out with her classmates with her social stats maxed out. The entire op squad from Otajiro to Goro